listening to Cinemajaw, the greatest movies podcast ever, recorded on location at Cinemajaw Studios in Chicago. My name is Matt Kay. With me is
Rye the Movie Guy, and sitting over to our left is Filmy and Phil.
Hello.
This week on Cinemajaw, Matt, we are looking at famous actors and their offspring.
Yes. This is like a family tree episode, but just the kids.
Right.
Yeah.
Talking about young actors of famous people we know who are actually damn talented themselves.
Right. This is a fun list.
It is, and we're doing this because it ties into the new Adam Sandler movie.
It does indeed, which we are going to review. You are so not invited to my bat mitzvah is the title.
Right.
Bit of a mouthful.
Adam Sandler's in it, but the star is actually his daughter named...
Daughters,
but one's really the
Sure.
main star, and that's Sunny Sandler. So we'll talk about Sunny and if she deserves to maybe be in consideration for this list.
How do you feel about alliterative names?
I always go with it when I'm going a nickname.
Oh,
I
do you?
remember like right away.
Filmy and Phil?
Phil
Fujiwara. Yeah.
I always would say Rockin' Ryan, or I'd throw in something R.
Not Rye the Movie Guy.
No, that came off the tongue, very just whim.
It rhymes.
And it stuck.
Yeah.
But I'm okay with it. You?
Yeah, I like alliterative names. I mean, like Peter Parker. There's 100 superheroes with alliterative names that I'm forgetting.
Clark Kent.
Thank you. And more.
Is Clark Kent one?
Yeah. I mean, just because it's different letters,
Okay.
I mean, it's still the same sound.
I guess.
Yeah.
I'm with you there.
Clark Street is spelled with a C.
Yeah, good stuff, Matt.
Yeah.
Besides that, no guest this week. Back in Cinemajaw Studios, we are going to finish up the Seth Rogen month here. Also this week, we are going to play hard Adam Sandler movie trivia. Hard. Because I know you know.
Oh, you're saying difficult.
Yes.
Okay, thank God.
I know you know Adam Sandler, so I had to make these questions a little bit harder of Adam Sandler.
I am no expert. I mean, like if we had my brother on the show, he would be unstoppable. We'll see. All right, hard Adam Sandler. Got
Yes.
it. Even though that's an image I want to wash from my brain.
We also should have some time to do some feedback, go into the mailbag and hear what the Jawheads have been talking about. And it's our last week celebrating Seth Rogen this week on Cinemajaw. So we're going to kick it off right here, Matt. We're going to kick it off right here with a Seth Rogen fact.
And when I say thank God, it's not because I don't like Seth. It's because of the sound effect.
What sound effect? Matt, what are you talking about?
Matt?
We don't know anything.
Me and Phil love it.
All right, let's hear the fact.
Yes. Okay. So, surprisingly, weed and that laugh are not the only things about Seth Rogen. We actually have a fact that has neither to do with marijuana nor the laugh. And it's, I guess maybe tangentially it's the laugh, but because of his deep voice and his bulky frame, he's always been perceived as older than he actually is. When he was doing stand-up in his teens, which also, I guess this is another fact, he started doing stand-ups in his teens in Canada, which I feel like a lot of our U.S. listeners may not know. He was often thought to have been in his 20s at that time, and at the age of 22, he convincingly played a 30-something character in The 40-Year-Old Virgin. That same Seth Rogen working at that Best Buy was 22.
That's insane.
I mean, that's really cool when you're in your teens and like early 20s, but by the time you're 40, that sucks.
But
you don't want to look 10 years older.
I think now he's gone long enough in Hollywood where now I'm like, man, hasn't he been around a long time? And I look at him as still being quite young. I think it's worked in his favor.
Right, like, because he's relatively, he looks very similar and kind of unchanged. So it's just, at this point, that's just what he looks like.
Well, yeah, I feel like he's maturing. Like, look at him in Fablemans and stuff. But you guys are right. Like, he's been around for so long, and he doesn't look terribly old. Because he's not. What is he, like 40-something? Can we throw that in the fish tank?
Throw it in the fish tank.
That's
Let's
not a
find out
trivia
the,
question later?
Official age. Well, if he was 22, and we could do the math, but we'll throw that in the fish tank.
All right.
It is ending the month here on Seth Rogen, and a serious question for you, Matt. Where do you want to see Seth Rogen's career go as he ages? He can't keep doing the silly comedies forever. I mean, he could still dabble in comedies, but they're not going to be the stoner kind of goofy comedies I think that he's been known for when he gets into his 50s and his 60s. Where do you see his career going?
I don't want to put baby in a corner, okay? I don't think you need to put Seth Rogen into any specific rolling paper. Like, this guy can write, he can direct, he can do animation, he can do live action, he can do comedy, he can do drama. I say, let's have it all. I mean that. And I don't say that of many people, but I think if he tries to concentrate on any one area, he would be doing a disservice to his career.
That's a really nice take, Matt.
There you go.
Well said, because I think, for instance, looking at Steve Carell, who came in hot as, this comedic actor, and then shifted to more dramatic roles.
Yeah, he's done a few.
I think then it's difficult because he really took that very seriously, and then it's difficult to transition back into screwball comedies and goofball.
Well, same thing with Jim Carrey, right? That's what happened with him.
True. And so I think if he can keep the balance, Seth Rogen that is, of doing some comedies here, some dramas when they come his way, I think that's the best way to go for a long career.
Yeah. Well, we're in agreement.
Interesting.
That doesn't happen often.
No. Let's see if we're in agreement with this new film we're reviewing, Matt.
Ryan, you are so not invited to my bat mitzvah.
I wouldn't go to your bat mitzvah anyways.
Well, I wouldn't have one. It would be a bar mitzvah.
Oh, a bar mitzvah. You're a boy.
These days, the names Adam Sandler and Netflix go together like peanut butter and jelly. And like the sandwich, the combo has debatable substance. I happen to fall into the camp that the Sandman has gotten better and better of late. Even his more goofy entries have seemed to have left the crusts on and given us a bit more to chew on. In 2023, the entire Sandler clan, Adam, wife Jackie, and 2 daughters, Sadie and Sunny, team up to adapt the 2005 YA novel entitled You Are So Not Invited to My Bat Mitzvah. Did you even want to be invited in the first place, or did Netflix hire the wrong DJ for this party? Ryan and I put on our yarmulkes to find out.
My bat mitzvah determines the rest of my life. If I have a kick-ass party, doors would open. And I just think Dua Lipa would make the party perfect.
You can have a ball pit.
That's for kids. I've had my period for 7 months now.
That's a long period, sweetheart.
La 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 la.
You Are So Not Invited to My Bat Mitzvah is basically the Jewish Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret, shifted up to the 8th grade level, complete with the monologue prayers and awkwardness. But while that film is about finding one's own beliefs, or agnosticism, if you will, while caught between 2 interfaith parents, there is no such ambiguity here. This is a Jewish movie. And please understand that I am listing that among its strengths. For people who are a part of the community, or perhaps simply interested, the representation here is respectful while not taking itself too seriously. A great example of what I'm talking about, Rye, comes through SNL newcomer Sarah Sherman, who plays Rabbi Rebecca. At one point in the film, she puts on an altered Misfits patch on her yarmulke that reads Mitzvahs. It's almost like blink and you miss it, but it's funny, if that gives you any indication of the tone here. The plot is this. Stacey Friedman, played by Sunny Sandler, and Lydia Katz are best friends who have always dreamed about having an epic bat mitzvah. But things start to go comedically awry when a popular boy and middle school drama threatens their friendship and their rite of passage. I'm not going to tell you that this is the comedy of the year or even slightly as important as the adaptation of Judy Blume's classic, but Bat Mitzvah is more than I expected it to be. Sadie and her leading sister Sunny Sandler are clearly up-and-coming talents. I would expect to see more of them as the proverbial torch is passed. The script feels breezy and light with equal measures awkward comedy and honest teen drama. This is a fun, funny, family-friendly rite of passage movie. Nothing super original, but the Sandler tweak does add some needed flavor. So I'm going to turn it over to you here, Ryan. I'm curious about your take, and can we start with Sunny Sandler? Did she lead this film successfully?
She did, and I think that's a good place to leap off on, because I think Sunny Sandler has that sort of like it factor. She has something about her that she can carry the picture. Not afraid of shying away from the camera. It seems like the camera likes her, and that's a talent for a lot of
She's got
stars.
charisma.
She really does have a charisma. In contrast, her sister Sadie, who isn't given as much to do here, the focal point in the story is on Sunny's character.
Right.
But Sadie, at the same point, I didn't see like necessarily that charisma where I would say, ooh, she's going to be a star. But Sunny, I could see she has something.
That's probably fair.
Right?
I guess, but maybe it's just the way they're positioned in the film, in the script.
Right. But I definitely felt like she was probably almost pushing Adam to be in this movie, where I think the older sister, Sadie, was probably more around the table, we're all going to do this. Okay, I'll do it. That's the
She
vibe.
had some great supporting scenes.
The vibe that I got anyways for
Yeah,
me. But I really liked Sonny Sandler. And do you think they look like Adam Sandler? Because that's always odd when you have such a famous dad and then you see like their daughters or their sons. And the sons, a lot of times it lines up, with the father and you can see it. I'm looking at the daughters and I'm like, God, I think it does look like a female Adam Sandler.
That's interesting. I think Sadie, the older daughter, this actually leads into one of my questions pretty well. I think Sadie, the older daughter, looks more like Sandler, whereas Sonny looks more like Jackie Sandler, which is a perfect segue. A quirk. This is the second time Sandler has worked with Idina Menzel as, pause, did I say that right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Edit back in. As husband and wife, the first being Uncut Gems. They work really well together, but it's weird. It's a curious choice when his wife is also in the movie and so obviously looks like the daughters, right?
Right. But you got to remember that Idina is doing, her role as his wife in the movie is a pretty big role in the film,
Chunky.
right? So,
But is Jackie not an actress?
no.
Oh,
Not that I know of.
she did great.
She did fine, but again, if you put her in like that big of a role, maybe she
yeah,
can't.
the edges show.
Right, maybe she can't necessarily carry that role the way Idina could. So that's why I think, and he probably remembered, hey, I had great chemistry with this actress. It worked once.
Or terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, from Uncut Gems, they hate each
Uncut
other.
Gems. So it's like, well, this will be perfect. Let's get back into that kind of form working together. So I didn't see it like being, a quirk as you called it. I thought it was fine because I think you needed a accomplished actress in that role. It was a little bit meatier of a role than just throw in any old person,
Yeah, fair enough. That's actually a really good explanation.
But while I was watching this, and I think I commented to you coming out of the screening, that I think this was the most representative of Adam Sandler's actual life that we've ever seen on screen.
Which is a total coincidence because it's based on a book.
Right. But I think when they put this together and he's like, yep, my daughters are going to be in this, I'm basically going to play myself. They never say his profession.
Right.
The family is clearly in a very well-to-do neighborhood.
Affluent.
Right.
Although her friend is the rich girl and she's kind of the normal one. But
Right.
yeah, fair enough. They're all
And-
privileged.
Exactly. They're all privileged. And Adam Sandler's character literally has nothing to do when he's at home. Like, you get the idea that he's home from work and he has nothing to do.
Taking a nap.
And this is what I picture Adam Sandler actually doing. And there's a scene where they go to buy a dress for the bat mitzvah, and they're like, is he going to be involved? And they look over and he's sleeping on like a bench in the
store.
the department store.
Uh-huh.
And I swear, I thought, yep, that is a total Adam Sandler move. Like, this is something he would do because then he makes a point to put on his shoes, not tie his laces.
He
And
goes to the
just-
movies in his
He
bathrobe.
goes, and I swear, I was thinking, this is how Adam Sandler lives his life. What a life. He doesn't care.
What a life. And the big guy, Sandman, he can just put his daughters into movies. I mean, I would be angry and jealous if I just didn't have as much respect for him. And he's good. He's got a few scenes in this movie. Where do you think this fits into his body of work?
Well, I mean, this
Is this a Sandler movie?
No, I don't think so.
Sandler adjacent?
Yes, this is like when Sandler pops up, briefly in a supporting role, or it's like a Happy Madison production, and it's got his fingerprints all over it, but he's not actually in the movie.
But the poster's hanging in his office.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, he's going to be proud that his whole family's in this. It is, notable for that. I mean, that it's got his whole family in there, but I don't think this is necessarily even like that Herbie Halloween or one of those junky Netflix movies that he made, where that's like a Adam Sandler movie. People are seeing it just for Adam Sandler. Nobody, I don't think, out there, or is it being sold as an Adam Sandler movie? People are going to see this more for like the teen drama, family kind of comedy, Your brother, for instance, is a big Adam Sandler fan. I don't think he has this on his to-do list. Now, he might check it out, but this isn't like, I got to see this one because I'm a Adam Sandler, super
Completist.
fan. Right.
I guess, I mean, I don't know if I totally agree with that, but I'll let it go. I'll let the point go.
I could see him doing a couple more of these. I mean, he's got this deal with Netflix. So if another comedy comes around that his daughter or daughters could star in, and it makes sense, Like,
Look,
all
he's
right.
been doing this for Rob Schneider for 2 decades.
Yeah. So,
And all of his friends. This is not Grown Ups 2, right? This has a little bit more meat on the bone. What'd you think overall?
so overall, I would say it's definitely not as good as Are You There? It's Me, Margaret.
Yeah.
The other film I had in mind, and I wrote down here, was 8th Grade, Bo Burnham's 8th Grade.
Also a fair comparison.
And in fact, I thought they used that element in 8th grade, which knocked it out of the park, of that loud music every time the boy that she liked would come on screen.
Oh, that got a little old for me.
No, I'm saying they did that in 8th grade.
In 8th grade, it worked. Here, it got,
exactly.
yeah.
That's my point. In 8th grade, it was like, wow, it was absolutely perfect. It was hilarious. They tried it here. It seemed like an exact copy of 8th grade, and it didn't work as well either
No.
with the music. I was like, oh, okay, maybe do that once, and it's kind of a laugh and like a little bit of an
Maybe
ode.
there's a callback later. They do it like 4 times.
Too much. And they did a little bit too much slow motion music scenes in general, not just when she's looking at the boy. There's other moments where it's like they cut in with a big hip hop song and there's a slow motion moment. And I thought, enough of this already, But again, we go back to this for Netflix. It's a slight pass for Netflix. Would I ever recommend this to go out into the theater and see and pay money for? Again, I would say no. This is just like the last Netflix movie we reviewed, Heart of Stone. I was even harder on. This is probably better than that.
If you're a middle-aged father of Jewish girls, then yeah, maybe this is a movie you should definitely see.
I've never been to a bar mitzvah or a bat mitzvah.
Oh, you're missing out, dude.
I've been to a Jewish wedding. And I
fun,
got,
right?
I got to hold the chair a little bit, when they raised the chair up. It was a total blast. And watching this movie, it did make me think, like, I wish at some point I had gotten to go to a bar mitzvah. It would have been fun.
That's what happens when you live in the burbs and not closer to the coast, man.
Yep.
I went to lots of bar and bat mitzvahs. The movie exaggerates, or maybe they've upped the ante since I was a kid, but they're crazy parties. I mean, they go all out. It's great.
Sure.
DJs, and I remember pony rides at one of them, and it's kind of crazy. And I can imagine rich people really having to keep up with the Joneses.
Right. I heard that Adam Sandler in real life had Adam Levine perform for his daughter's bat mitzvah. And I heard that on Howard Stern. And I mean, just imagine that. He's got Adam Levine, tough active book, and he's getting for the bat mitzvah. It's insane.
Yeah, that is weird. That is really weird. Yeah, rich people are crazy. Let's talk about the jokes. We kind of touched on this a little bit. I thought it was a little uneven because there's some screwball jokes and awkward teen comedy, and then it shifts to like gross out stuff, and then some like sincere, like family friendly humor. Uneven. Not bad, just uneven.
Right. The other thing I would point out as far as the unevenness goes is there was no like really hard laugh. There was no build up, no set piece where it like all came together.
I like the car crash.
It was a lot of jokes that you would chuckle at, more so than I had like a big hard laugh. Even going back to say something like No Hard Feelings with Jennifer Lawrence, it had those like, it took some big swings to get some hard laughs. I don't think this one was attempting that. There was no, all right, this is going to be the scene that everybody's going to go crazy at. For a comedy, I think it was lacking there. But I laughed and chuckled. You probably heard me. We're sitting next to each other. I laughed quite a few times, but they were just like lighter laughs. Like, oh, okay, this is pretty funny.
Yeah.
As I mentioned to the publicist walking out of the theater, harmless fun. I chuckled. It was okay.
All right, Ryan. Let's talk about scores. Let's talk about movie poster quotes. What do you got?
Well, I'm going to start with a jaw-dropping moment.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Okay.
I didn't even know there were any in this.
Yeah,
movie.
and here's one where I laughed, and it was the first time because we said they went to this joke too many times, but it was the very first time she's talking about the boy that she likes. His name is Andy Goldfarb, and she's describing him as this like dreamy character. And it always makes me laugh when they're describing someone, in 8th grade, like that age, as, this beautiful, dreamboat. And then when they finally cut to him, he's got this, like, what would you call it? It's like a pillow joust thing, like a stuffed...
Oh, yeah, a pugil stick?
Yeah.
From, like, American Gladiator.
Right, he's got one of those deals, and he's just knocking down one of his classmates, one of the younger classmates. And he's just like an 8th grade
He's like a
kid
dork.
would be.
I mean, not a dork. He's like a jock.
Yeah, or an 8th grader.
A meathead.
Right? A meathead, but he's an 8th grader. He's not the meathead when you get into like
high school.
High school,
Yeah.
different type of meathead. But he's just kind of like you know, a know-nothing 8th grade kid just having some fun. And the description of him before we cut to him is that he's like this dreamboat kid that everybody's in love with. And then we see him just like, what the hell? That got a laugh out of me.
Yeah.
That was good.
Mine is the car crash. It's I thought the funniest joke in the movie, kind of out of left field, and the most screwball moment of. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Yeah, where the teenage girls pull out into traffic and there's a big car crash behind them and they don't even notice.
But you know who the car crash was? It was the DJ.
Yeah,
Yes.
Shmooly.
So then you got up to go to the bathroom. Matt loves a good bathroom break. And there was a second car crash in the movie. It was a callback joke with the DJ again. And I said to you, I whispered to you, we had a Steve Buscemi cameo. Looked it up. It was not. It's Michael Buscemi.
They do look alike. They are brothers.
Right. So it was a Michael Buscemi cameo in the opposite car, which
Well, that
got a
explains
laugh also.
why they didn't go for the big close-up.
As for a movie poster quote, I went with, it's no Billy Madison, but Sonny Sandler is on her way.
Oh, that's very kind and nice, and I agree. I went straight ahead with mine. Go ahead and RSVP to this bat mitzvah. You are so invited.
All right, I guess I'll go to your bat mitzvah.
Thanks, Ryan.
2 Jaws. That's all I'm going. 2 Jaws.
I went ahead and gave it 2.25. 2.25 Jaws. Better than I expected, but my expectations were very low. But here's the thing. We will look back on this film, I think, and I think you agree, as the moment where Sonny Sandler got started.
I agree. I see her having some sort of career. Where this is going to go, I don't know. It's too
early.
to say. But I do think we'll hear and see more of Sonny Sandler in the future. The Bat Mitzvah movie that you're not invited to is streaming on Netflix. So check it out, Jawheads. Let us know what you think. Shoot us an email, feedback@cinemajaw.com.
Shoot us an X.
Yeah, or
On
an
X.
X. On X. We're at Cinemajaw.
I think they still call them tweets.
You can direct message us on Instagram, Facebook. We're Cinemajaw everywhere,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, just throw a paper airplane out your window and chances are good we'll get it.
So we looked at this and we said, hey, we have a famous actor like Adam Sandler who's putting his daughter in this movie. Let's look at other famous offsprings and who's doing it right and who we are excited to see more from. I'm going to get started this week.
Okay, you go ahead.
All right. And at number 5, I put my list as this way. I got 3 what I would say sort of heavy hitters at 3, 2, and 1. And my 5 and 4 are more like up-and-coming child actors that I'm excited for. Not necessarily child, but younger actors that
Oh, okay.
are already showing some flash.
Were we going for young actors
You
here?
don't
'Cause-
have to.
Okay.
I don't
All
know.
of mine are heavy hitters.
Oh, okay.
All 5 of them.
Hey, great that you have all 5 heavy hitters. But I think this is a heavy hitter.
I roll deep, Ryan.
Heavy hitter, but I'm just saying he is just starting his career, and I'm
Fair.
excited to see where he goes. It's only been 8 years since he has been started. My number 5 pick, O'Shea Jackson Jr., who is Ice Cube's son, who got his start in Straight Outta Compton in 2015.
Yeah, get out of my head. He's also my number 5.
Is he really?
Yeah, but I'll sub one in.
Okay, so O'Shea Jackson Jr., when I saw him, he actually played his dad, Ice Cube, in Straight Outta Compton. And I just assumed he had probably been acting as a kid, you know, and I just hadn't seen him kind of deal. Probably was growing up
Sure,
in the business.
He probably did.
When I looked this up, this was his first credit.
That doesn't mean he wasn't acting. Maybe he's doing school plays, right? You know?
Oh, of course, but you know what I'm talking about. When I'm saying that, I'm saying he was probably on television shows and in other movies, just
No.
not on my radar. But it turns out that this was his first actual credit on IMDb. Now, since then, he goes in to do Ingrid Goes West, which is on my to-see list, Den of Thieves, Long Shot, Godzilla King of Monsters, Just Mercy, Cocaine Bear, and he also appears in 3 episodes of Obi-Wan Kenobi.
That's right. Holy crap. I love this guy.
Me too. And I think he's far superior than Ice Cube as an actor. Not that I don't even know all the movies I can name that Ice Cube's in, but
Friday comes to
yeah,
mind.
and he's
pretty
got some
easily.
heavy hitters. But I think O'Shea Jackson Jr. is going to surpass him as far as
I think he's
acting
in
goes.
Snow Dogs, is he not in Snow Dogs?
Throw it in the fish tank. Is Ice Cube in Snow Dogs?
I agree.
Inquiring minds want to know.
Not really. No, I agree with you. O'Shea Jackson Jr. is a superior actor to his father.
And he has such a maturity about him. Can we see how one other question. How old is O'Shea Jackson Jr.? Because I swear...
30-something.
Is he really?
I would guess.
Maybe he is, but he seems very mature already for where he's at in his career.
Just like Seth Rogen. They have that in common. All right, so swinging it to my number 5, I did have O'Shea Jackson Jr., but I will sub one out. You know what? This isn't even on my list here. I've got 10 written down, so I'm calling an audible, and I'm going to say Harley Quinn Smith as my sub. Now, do I think she's having an amazing career? Perhaps not. She belongs on this list for the same reason that Sonny Sandler, at this point in her career, belongs on this list.
Wait, whose daughter is she?
Oh, she's Kevin Smith's daughter.
Oh, I do not know this person at all. Honestly, I have no idea who you're talking about.
She was in... Oh, man. Wow, I'm having a brain fart. I can't even think of the movie. But Smith, like Sandler, put her in one of his movies. Can we throw that in the fish tank? It's one of the Askew-niverse films. So she's had a few other roles since then. And do I think she's one of the greats? No. Is she an O'Shea Jackson Jr.? Probably not. But, noteworthy on this list.
Interesting.
As a sub.
I honestly, when you said the name, I didn't even know who you were talking about.
Well, Smith is a common name.
Right. And Harley Quinn, I thought, who the hell's naming their daughter Harley Quinn? I should have known Kevin Smith.
Kevin Smith, yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Of course.
All right. My number 4 pick is another actress or actor that I think has major potential. And I mentioned her before, and it is Maya Hawke, the daughter of Ethan Hawke and Uma Thurman. Her main credit, Jawheads, is Stranger Things. She is one of the main characters in Stranger Things, but since then she has also appeared in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Nice credit to have under your belt.
Who's she in Stranger Things?
Quentin Tarantino movie. I don't know the character's name, but we went over this last time. It was the same question you asked. One of the main characters. That's all I can say. I don't know their names off the top of my head. But she worked at when they were in the mall, she worked at the ice cream shop in that season.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay. I'm looking at a picture of her. I forget her character's name as well, but she is one of the main characters.
She appeared in Asteroid City, Wes Anderson's movie that we saw earlier this year, played the school teacher that was just hilarious in. And she actually has 3 more credits, post-credits, coming out this year, one of them being Maestro, the new Bradley Cooper film that's supposed to be in award talk at the end of this year.
Yeah, I saw the trailer today.
So she is definitely on the rise, and what I've seen already I like, but I think in the next few years, this is somebody that's going to be a household name, Maya Hawke.
All right. No disagreements. Swinging it to me. I'm going big guns here. Kate Hudson.
This was an honorable mention of mine.
Only an honorable?
Honorable.
Okay. I love Kate Hudson. I think that the role that springs to everybody's mind is Almost Famous, but I also really enjoyed Skeleton Key. I might be in the minority on that. It's a weird New Orleans kind of voodoo horror thing that nobody really liked. It didn't...
I thought it was okay.
I thought it was okay. I actually have seen it twice, and I think it's a decent spooky movie to spin around Halloween. But I like Kate Hudson in general. She's, of course, the daughter of Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell. Just a fantastic actress. And she was just in the Knives Out sequel, Glass Onion.
Yep.
Kind of brought her back to the fore.
I agree. That was a great role for her because I was starting to think, what happened to Kate Hudson? And then she got that. So I think that was really good. I do like this pick because she's one of those kind of stars that when I first saw her jump on the scene, I thought, oh, it's Goldie Hawn's daughter. She's like 1, 2, and done kind of deal.
Yeah, the nepotism.
Right. But she's got some chops, and I've always been a fan of Kate Hudson.
A lot of these people got their start through nepotism, but they, I think, earned their place on this list.
There's plenty that get their start that way, and then they end up fizzling out, right?
Sure.
And they just do a lot of drugs, and that's the end of them.
Yeah.
I'm semi-joking here. But Kate Hudson, the other one is How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. Not one of our fan favorites, but I know there's probably people out there that love that Matthew McConaughey, Kate Hudson film.
Classic.
So she's got some good ones.
She does.
My number 3, I consider it a heavy hitter. I talked about how I dismissed this actress early on in her career, and then I came around not to just liking her, but actually like really liking her talent on screen, and that's Dakota Johnson.
Yeah, you're a big fan.
Huge fan now. She's the daughter of Don Johnson and Melanie Griffith. And
Right, but what has she done outside of 50 Shades of Grey?
so she started, believe it or not, in The Social Network. She had a small role in The Social Network. She did the 50 Shades of Grey movies, which were a trilogy. But it's her later work that impresses me. She was in Suspiria, which we loved.
Yeah, well, she wasn't the main character, was she?
No, she was, she was the main character
she
that
was.
goes over there.
Opposite Uma Thurman.
Yes. No, not
Uma Thurman.
Tilda Swinton.
Thank you.
Yes. Then she was in Bad Times at the El Royale, the hotel movie where everybody sort
Yeah.
of collides.
I still haven't
loved
caught
it.
up with that.
The Peanut Butter Falcon, which was opposite Shia LaBeouf, I liked. The Lost Daughter, Olivia
yeah.
Colman and her on the beach.
That movie.
Then she was in Cha Cha Really Smooth
Yeah, you liked that.
that I
one.
really liked. And she's also got multiple films in the works. I like her now. Now all of a sudden I'm kind of a big fan of Dakota Johnson. She has something that when I'm watching her, I'm like, yeah, she's got that it factor that's like, yep, I can watch her in pretty much anything. I believe her.
I gotta catch up with some of those movies. I still haven't seen the El Royale. What was the other ones you mentioned that I didn't see?
The Peanut Butter Falcon.
Yeah, I got that DVD and I never watched it, man.
Oh, check that one
It's a
out.
crime.
And
I know.
Cha Cha Really Smooth.
I know. Cha Cha Really Smooth, they were saying, is going to be the coda of 2022.
Right.
Didn't come to pass, but
I saw that at the Chicago Critics Film Festival, and it
Yeah.
was great. Packed music box theater. Sometimes you wonder why it doesn't catch. I think everybody walking out of that thought, yep, this is going to be the big sleeper hit of the year.
it just didn't
Just
happen.
didn't happen.
Interesting. Weird how that goes. All right, number 3.
I do want to say really
Oh,
quick,
yeah.
though. Cha Cha Real Smooth is on Apple TV, so if you have Apple TV, well worth a spin.
Okay. I am pulling out one of the biggest guns available when you do this research. And interestingly enough, didn't see him on anybody else's list. Brandon Lee, son of Bruce Lee, one of the greatest offsprings. Now, his filmography, quite small. Obviously, he
Right, that's why
tragically
he's on no one's list.
he tragically
You got to
passed.
sell me on this pick.
I don't feel like I have to. He's in the freaking Crow, man.
That's it.
That's all you need. Sometimes, Ryan, all you need is one great film.
He didn't even finish The Crow.
Well, dude, he is the Crow. Don't talk shit about Brandon Lee.
I'm just saying, I thought about him, but I thought, right, I mean, would have been, could have been, but with that small filmography, he doesn't fit on this. And he
absolutely does.
unfortunately passed away.
The parameters are famous Hollywood offspring. How does it get more famous in Hollywood than Bruce Lee? He's in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, for God's sake.
Yes, but I mean, not the actual Bruce Lee, the character. I get it.
Right. So what I'm saying is the name. So obviously the son of Bruce Lee, Brandon Lee. Now, if he had just done some crappy throwaway movie, I would say, okay, you're right. He doesn't belong on this list. But he did The Crow, all-time classic, often duplicated, never replicated.
Was he in any other movie? I have no idea.
Throw it in the fish tank.
Throw it in the fish tank.
I believe he had one other credit. It might have been daytime television.
Oh my God! And that qualifies him for the list. And on top
Absolutely.
of that,
You
on top of
bet
that,
your
you're
sweet ass
no,
it does.
doesn't.
The
And then
Crow.
No bullshit.
The Crow.
Then you're putting him at number 3.
I would have put him at number 1, but I got 2 more who are even better.
Maybe a number 5 pick. But
No.
boy, when you look back on
Dude,
this,
bite your tongue.
When you look back on this top 5 list that has Harley Quinn Smith and Brandon Lee, this is
Harley
embarrassing.
Quinn
Matt.
Smith was
This
a
is
substitute.
embarrassing.
Was a substitute because you stole my number 5. It was O'Shea Jackson
There's plenty
Jr.
of other ones you could put in there.
I know, but I wanted to make mention of Harley Quinn Smith because of Adam Sandler's daughters.
All right, back on to real,
But Brandon Lee,
real picks here.
Brandon Lee, it's a real pick. Go on. You're making an ass out of yourself.
No, I'm not.
I want to help you here.
All right, my number 2 pick, heavy hitter, has surpassed, I think, his dad, who's still acting. My number 2 pick is Aleksander Skarsgard, the son of Stellan Skarsgard. And
Can we get these guys to make more easily pronounceable names?
I know it's ridiculous, Stellan Skarsgard.
It's a cool name, though.
Stellan, for the jawheads that might not be familiar with Skarsgard's dad, as he's being referred to now, he's the villain, the fat blob in Dune, most recently. I like to think of him when I really realized who Stellan Skarsgard was. Go back to Good Will Hunting. He's the math teacher that goes out and gets Robin Williams to try to train and work with Matt Damon, if you'll remember him.
Was he not also in the Avengers movies? He plays the scientist in the Thor films.
I am not Mr. Marvel, so he may be in those, but those aren't the movies that I think of when I think of Stellan Skarsgård. He's an actor that is in so many films. He pops up all the time. He's not usually the star of the movie. He's way more a supporting character and character actor.
That is the guy.
Okay,
yes.
that is him.
Yeah.
So he'll pop up in those kind of movies. So a lot of times he's just in smaller roles where I'm just like, he's one of those guys, like almost like a Toby Jones, where I'm just happy to see Stellan Skarsgård. I'm like, all right, he's
not quite a Toby Jones.
He's just a very accomplished actor, and I know him, and I like to see him on screen. Along comes his son, and he's actually got a couple of Skarsgårds out there.
Right.
But
Pennywise.
Right, you got Pennywise out there also. But Aleksander Skarsgård is, I think, at this point, the biggest name of the family. He was in Zoolander movies. He was in Melancholia. Obviously, he was Tarzan. That's where I, at least myself, got to know, okay, that's face to the name. Now I knew who Aleksander Skarsgård was. He was in the movie Hold the Dark. He somehow survived the absolute trashy film on Netflix called Mute.
I remember that. We reviewed it.
And we trashed it. We did not like Mute at all. I thought it was absolute garbage. And this was like a big starring vehicle for him, and it was a complete dud. He got past that. He was obviously in The Northman.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I love The Northman.
Yeah.
He's in Infinity Pool earlier this year.
Did you see that?
I did. Brandon Cronenberg, well worth a spin. And his TV credits. He is the star in True Blood, which was a huge hit on Showtime, and then most recently on HBO, or Max as it's called now, Big Little Lies. So he's got TV credits, film credits. I mean,
he's having a career over there.
Oh, hell yeah. I love Aleksander Skarsgård, especially in The Northman. He was great in there.
Yeah. I'm not going to argue with that pick, Ryan. I mean, is it as good as Brandon Lee? It's debatable.
Wait a minute. At number 2, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to walk out of this room if you have Willow or Jaden Smith. I will walk right out of this room.
I don't have either one of them.
Okay, good. With the list you're putting together here, you're just not too sure.
Yeah, no. They swung and missed, in my opinion. I'm putting a person on this list who's actually had a decent career, if not good. Angelina Jolie. Now, Jolie is the daughter of Jon Voight, who I'm not a big fan of anymore, thanks to his let's say, off-camera rantings. But I like Jolie quite a bit. Wife of Brad Pitt. They've since divorced. Mother of future Hollywood kids. But Jolie has that it factor we were talking about earlier. I remember Hackers, when I saw Hackers for the first time. And then, like, The Gone in 60 Seconds. She played Lara Croft in those movies, which at least the first one was decent. They kind of had diminishing returns. But then she picked it back up. She's done some pretty interesting stuff.
She has. I remember that was a name that I think because they don't have the same last name, you got Jon Voight and Angelina Jolie.
Kind of saved her.
And I remember thinking, probably everybody has the moment when they found out that it was. At some point, everybody had to find out, like, oh, that's the daughter of Jon Voight. I know for me, it was a little bit later, you know. She had already made a few movies, and somebody said, that's Jon Voight's daughter. And I'm like, what? No, that's not Jon Voight's daughter. And then I was, like, stunned when I found out that it was true. It was like finding out Darth Vader was Luke Skywalker's father, you know?
Yeah, kind of like that. Kind of like that. But there's no doubt that Angelina, like, did it on her own. Right, because she's got the look, and then she's also got the chops to back it up, for the most part. For the most part.
Yes. Done some good humanitarian work as well.
Absolutely.
She's been awarded for that. So, yes, big fan of Angelina Jolie. My number 1 pick, also somebody that I think everybody universally loves, and I put this person on the list for a story that I'm going to tell after I say who the person is, because I remember watching this with my mom and thinking, like, what? This is so funny, and it's perfect for this list. My number 1 offspring is Carrie Fisher, Princess Leia herself, the daughter of Debbie Reynolds and Eddie Fisher.
Nobody remembers those two.
Well, this is the point that I'm making. So I was sitting there watching like an award show of some sort, and Debbie Reynolds came out. I don't know Debbie Reynolds that well. Now, she's in Singing in the Rain and a slew of films.
Any relation to Ryan Reynolds?
No.
Burt Reynolds?
Cut it out. So we got Debbie Reynolds and Eddie Fisher. Eddie Fisher, obviously, a humongous singing career. He was one of the biggest stars in the world.
I have no idea who he is.
Oh, my God. Eddie Fisher was like the biggest star. Debbie Reynolds, massive star. They get together. Eddie Fisher would then go on to marry Elizabeth Taylor. There was the whole affair. This was big news. This was before our time, obviously, Matt. But I've caught up on my past Hollywood history here.
Right.
However, at this award show that I'm watching, I'm a young kid, and Debbie Reynolds comes out and she gets like a standing ovation, and she says, "I'm Debbie Reynolds, you know, I starred in such and such movies," and she's like, "That's what your parents know me for. Anybody who's under the age of," whatever she said, 30, knows me as Princess Leia's mom." And everybody laughed. And I thought, what? I had to put it all together. And my mom explained to me, she's like, she never thought that she would have been eclipsed popularity-wise by her daughter, because like literally
She was huge.
Eddie Fisher and Debbie Reynolds were like, and then the whole thing with Elizabeth Taylor, it seemed like, well, that's the biggest news that could ever come of this family. And then Carrie Fisher obviously gets in this little movie called Star Wars, and the rest is history. She also, other credits, When Harry Met Sally, The Burbs, Blues Brothers. She wrote scripts.
Don't forget Drop Dead Fred.
Drop Dead Fred. I mean, there's tons of movies. But wow, I mean, for her to sort of pop on the scene as Debbie Reynolds' daughter at one time, and then literally become, you know,
Star Princess Leia.
Yeah.
That's going to be her biggest role.
in a year after she passed away, she was inducted into what they call the Disney Legends as Princess Leia. So
Deserve
nice
it.
accomplishment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love our Carrie Fisher.
All right, that leaves it with my number one. And how do you top Princess Leia? There's only one. The second biggest moment at the Oscars last year, I'm going with Oscar winner Jamie Lee Curtis at number one. Yeah, her famous parents being Tony Curtis and Janet Leigh, who is probably best known, at least to people our age, as the woman in Psycho, the beginning of Psycho, the shower scene.
Right.
Yeah. Jamie Lee Curtis is like, I have been a fan since I was a little kid, and her and PJ Souls get murdered by Michael Myers in Halloween. Well, she didn't get murdered, but, and then she's still with us. She's still making great movies, Knives Out. And then, obviously Everything Everywhere All at Once. Just love Jamie Lee Curtis. I friggin' love her. I'm so glad like she's on this little like role right now.
Totally.
It's great to see.
Totally. She's had a heck of a career for sure.
Yeah. Remember like when we had, I think Phil had just left Cinemajaw and we had Patrick and he had just come off that like B grade Jamie Lee Curtis movie. At that time, her career was like way under the radar and she was just about to shoot into the stratosphere.
Right.
Weird, huh?
It is strange. Fat Hand Pat. Yeah, remember him. But yeah, I forget the name of the movie, but it was like a Chicago-based movie.
Yeah,
and she had like a small role in it or something.
She was like the president.
Right.
Or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Now she's back on top.
Now she's an Oscar winner.
It's awesome.
Weird, huh?
Absolutely fantastic. Honorable mentions here, Matt. I went with the duo of Domhnall Gleeson and his dad, Brendan Gleeson. Domhnall has been in the Star Wars movies. He was in...
Wasn't he in The Menu?
the movie with Alicia Vikander as the robot.
Oh, Ex Machina.
Yes. He was in Ex Machina. He's been in tons of great stuff. His dad, Brendan Gleeson, obviously, we know him opposite Colin Farrell.
Yeah.
Love that guy.
Love that movie.
Colin Hanks and Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
I've come around on Colin Hanks. He was a guy that I also thought, all right, throw away, famous kid actor that just got lucky because his dad's Tom Hanks. But he was in the television show Fargo, and when he appears in the right role, Colin Hanks is he's good. I like him.
Okay.
And then Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yeah, I saw this when I was doing my research.
Right. I don't really. I'm too young. I mean, I know her mom was in Meet the Parents movies and Meet the Fockers, and there's some other big credits. But to me, Gwyneth Paltrow was just such a big star that I don't necessarily look at her ma thinking like somehow she surpassed her. She clearly did.
I got a bunch. I'm going to go rapid fire. Rapid fire. Bryce Dallas Howard. Worth mentioning. John David Washington.
Great pick. This is one that probably actually almost would have teetered on my list. Didn't think of it. Yep.
Wyatt Russell.
Father. That's
Kurt Russell and I think he might have a different. Well, you know what? He's definitely related to Kurt Russell.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure he's related to. He's Goldie Hawn's son too, or half stepson, or something like that. But he was in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Kiefer Sutherland, dude. How did we not mention
That's
Kiefer?
a great one. Yeah.
Liv Tyler.
But was she that good?
Oh, come on. Yeah, of course she was,
I
man.
think she got cast in the right role in Lord of
She's
the Rings.
in Lord of the Rings.
I know, but that was the right role for her. It worked, and it wasn't that hard. She was
a heartthrob in the 90s, dude. She was absolutely. And you know what? I still like a good
where
Liv
is she
Tyler.
now? Where? When was the last
She's
time
due
you saw
for a comeback.
Liv Tyler movie?
She's due for a comeback.
I mean,
This is exactly what I was saying about
15
Jamie Lee.
years. She's been gone for 15 years.
She's due. She's due. Wait for it. Laura Dern. How do we not mention Laura Dern?
Laura Dern, big, yes.
We could
Daughter
go on
of
and
Bruce
on.
Dern. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's it. That's all I got on my list.
All right, Jawheads, if we missed a favorite Offspring that didn't come up here, shoot us an email, feedback@cinemajaw.com. We are going to come back. We have a loaded up fish tank, some feedback to get to, plus some trivia. Stick with us.
Let's all go to the lobby.
Listen, guys, we're the greatest movies podcast ever, and part of that is talking about some of the not so greatest movies ever. Like Seth Rogen's collaborative sci-fi comedy flick with Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, Paul. I know, it's not the best film, but I still love it. Seth turning alien tropes on their heads, like in this clip where we hear Rogan introduce himself and go over, probing.
What have you done to him?
I didn't do anything to him. He fainted.
Yeah, but you made him faint.
Yes, but it's not like I set my phaser to faint.
You've got a phaser?
No, I don't. Look, listen. Hey, I really need your help, okay? Can we get this guy back on your wagon?
Wait. Are you an alien?
To you, I am, yes.
Are you going to probe us?
Why does everyone always assume that? What am I doing? Am I harvesting farts? How much can I learn from an ass?
What?
I'm sorry. What's your name?
It's Graham Willie.
And what's his name?
That's the writer, Clive Gollings.
Okay, cool. I'm Paul.
Paul?
Yeah, it's a nickname that stuck. My ship crashed on a dog. It doesn't matter. Look, can we get the writer Clive Gollings back on the RV and get the hell out of here, please?
I can't get...
I'm in a hell of a pickle. And if you don't help me, I could die on this road tonight.
I don't know, we're on quite a tight schedule.
Man, sometimes you just gotta roll the dice. What do you say?
Sparkling drinks, it all colored dandy.
And we are back on Cinemajaw. We're talking about Hollywood Offspring, Ryan, and I think we threw a few items, cup it to a tree, into the fish tank. Why don't we open up that fish tank?
Wait a moment! It's fish! Isn't it?
DC! Wake up! No, Pat, it's a giant glass bowl. Hey, get some fish folk.
Who's coming with me besides Flipper? Here.
That's a Sicilian message. It means Luca Brasi sleeps with the fishes.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Thank you so much. It is so great to be out of the fish tank this week. And dear God, this is like, you guys are really putting me to work. We had a week off because we doubled up. It wasn't even a week off. We talked about this on the last show. Lots in here. So we'll get right to it. How old is Seth Rogen was our first answer, or first question. The answer is he was born April 15th, 5 days away from greatness in 1982, making him 41 years old.
41.
Younger than us.
Right. But he seems...
Yes.
Older.
I was going to say seems older because he's been around for so long.
Exactly. And to the point of the clip and kind of what Matt was saying, like, I think his Fableman's role is kind of reiterating the look older point because you look at that
plays
guy
like
and
a
you think...
50-something.
Yeah. Is Ice Cube in Snow Dogs? As far as I could tell, no. He was not in Snow Dogs at all. Cuba Gooding was in that.
Cuba Gooding, yeah.
The closest I could find was another family comedy that has nothing to do with either snow nor dogs, and that was Are We There Yet?
He's had some bad roles. That's the point.
Everyone has.
True.
Snow Dogs is awesome, by the way.
No,
this
it is
for
not.
later. How old is O'Shea Jackson Jr.? This one's kind of an opposite story. O'Shea Jackson Jr., born February 24th, 1991, making him 32 years old.
You did say 30s.
Yeah.
But barely 30s.
He looks younger to me.
Not me. He's another one who kind
I
of seems more mature.
I think looks very mature. But 32, okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
What role was Harley Quinn Smith in as her first film from her father's? The first role was in Tusk, which let me just say
That's a decent movie.
That is the most Kevin Smith thing I have ever heard. Like, who other than him would put his daughter as like
body horror
that
movies.
as that weird and gross of a movie as her first role.
Anyone with the last name Cronenberg would have done the same thing.
I still haven't seen Tusk.
It's good. It's weird. Like, it is good. It's enjoyable.
It's very Cronenberg-esque. I mean, it's like Kevin Smith's Cronenberg movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Somebody becomes a
little
walrus.
funnier in the beginning.
Yeah.
But it starts off, it takes a weird turn. Like, you don't expect it to go where it goes. It starts off pretty funny.
It's like Clerks, and then halfway through becomes Human Centipede.
Should I watch it around Halloween, like early October?
Oh, for sure.
That's a good time.
The creepiness is silly, and like, you just watch it. It is good. It is good. And then the last one, shame on you, Ryan, because Brandon Lee is awesome.
Thank you, Phil.
Brandon Lee is awesome.
Thank you for
what
reiterating.
What other movies was Brandon Lee in, if any? And there were a few films before The Crow. To be fair to Ryan's point, 2 of these were foreign films. There was Legacy of Rage, which is a Hong Kong film, and Laser Mission, which is a German film. But he was also in the 91 buddy comedy Showdown in Little Tokyo and the 92 action flick Rapid Fire. Neither of those 2 U.S. films were The Crow level. But I also wonder, like, The Crow was only The Crow level because of the incident, I think.
Oh, no. I absolutely disagree. That movie, if he had, not tragically passed away on set, would have launched his career. It was a hit whether or not he passed away. Did it add to the mystique? Yes. But that was a great movie.
I think it was great, but I don't know if people would have loved it.
I also think it was great for our age demographic. It was a
90s hit.
Right. 90s hit. I don't know how big of a stratosphere he would have went. You're making him sound like that would have launched him.
I think so.
I don't know.
He would have been the new action star. We needed one at that moment.
I guess. I still think it's a weak pick. But
dude, it's Bruce Lee's son.
Still.
He gets one hit under his belt, and it's like, Bruce Lee, son. Anyway, I'm not... Go on, Phil.
That's all we got. You can continue arguing.
Yeah.
Or wait for feedback, because I'm sure we'll get some about the Brandon Lee.
I'm sure.
I hope we do.
So we recorded 2 episodes over at the Fan Expo. Want to thank them again for having us out there.
Yes,
that was a
thank
blast. Matt, Phil, thanks for a good time.
Too much
thank
fun.
you guys.
And
too much fun.
That we survived it was great.
Yeah.
So we didn't get a chance to read feedback. Obviously, we recorded 2 episodes in a row. So I wanted to go back a couple episodes here through these. Up first, our guy, Alex Stahersky.
Oh, wow.
Longtime Jawhead.
Longtime
supporter of
Jawhead.
Cinemajaw. Thanks, Alex, for still listening and putting up with Matt K. I'm joking. But Alex chimed in. I think he was talking about Seth Rogen month, and we mentioned his breakout being Superbad. This was early in the month, and he wrote in, I think most people my age, early 40s, do actually know Seth Rogen originally from Freaks and Geeks, but I was surprised when you chose Superbad as his breakout movie, considering both 40-Year-Old Virgin and, more importantly, Knocked Up were already out by that point. And I wrote him back on Twitter, and I said, you are 100% correct.
Absolutely. Knocked Up.
Knocked Up is definitely the breakout
came
role.
Before that?
Yes.
That's what's shocking to me.
Yeah, I just didn't realize the order. Like, I wasn't thinking about it.
Me
but
neither. And a lot of times we fly off the cuff. That is what makes Cinemajaw so damn entertaining, I think. So we screw up sometimes, but good call out there. It's Knocked Up for sure.
Thanks, Alex.
Yes. In regards to our favorite racing movies, we got a couple. One was David J. Cootie on Facebook wrote in. He said the best 5 racing movies are as follows. And this is locked. Ford v. Ferrari, Need for Speed, Days of Thunder, Cannonball Run, and Rush. I think we did a good job because all those came up other than Need for Speed, and I have never seen Need for Speed.
Who's in that?
I'm not even sure.
All right, yeah, I'm pretty sure I have seen Need for Speed, and that's about, I can't even remember who was in it.
Also, on the racing movies, Wisconsin Bob chimed in. And he says, here's my favorite racing movies. Ben-Hur, It's a Mad, 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 Mad World, Chariots of Fire, and Herbie.
Herbie was an honorable mention for me. I love the Herbie movies.
He goes on to say, Rush and Talladega Nights? Come on, man.
I disagree with that. I mean, Rush I haven't seen, but Talladega Nights is freaking classic.
I saw Herbie as a kid, and I loved it.
Yeah, me too.
And I think I mentioned Chariots of Fire as an honorable mention of mine. If I didn't, I definitely wrote it down in my research notes as one that I was considering. So,
what about the Lindsay Lohan Herbie movies? The remakes.
Oh, never saw him.
Yeah, me neither.
Okay. Last but not least, cousin Andrew.
Your cousin.
Yes, he's been listening to
Speaking
the Jaw.
of nepotism,
He's been listening to the Jaw. He wrote in regards to our episode in which we did a top 5 secret weapons. He says, Andrew says, the secret weapon topic is hard, but I'm sad you passed up Goonies and Data.
brilliant.
Absolutely
Brilliant,
right.
dude. Pinches of power. I've been saved by my pinches of power.
Yes. He goes on to say, also the crotch pistol from Dusk Till Dawn.
Sex Machine.
Great one, right?
Mm-hmm. That's Tom Savini.
Honorable mentions for him go to Water from Signs. That's what kills the aliens at the end.
It's also, you could say that for Wizard of Oz also.
As well as the hidden cocaine compartment in Cruel Intentions. Which I have seen Cruel Intentions,
She's got like
but
a
it's
locket
been so
with a
long
little
time. Right.
Yeah.
But it's been a while, so that would not have popped up into my head.
That's a clever one. I don't know if it's a weapon, but okay.
So,
The first two are brilliant.
especially Goonies and Data.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I love that pick. Thanks for the Jawheads. Those were the ones we decided to read.
Oscar winner Ki Kwan, by the way.
Right.
Yeah.
Now he is.
We should mention.
We should. Other big news, we are going to be covering the Toronto International Film Festival once again this year. I will be heading to Toronto September 7th through the 12th. We're going to, again, attempt to do video reviews sort of in real time on our YouTube channel. That is probably the easiest way if you want to sort of get an update while the fest is going on. That's what we're going to do. Matt will edit the videos and put them up onto
all
YouTube.
the channels, but YouTube, yeah.
That's the easiest way too. And then when we come back, or I come back from Toronto, we'll do obviously a recap and our fall movie preview.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. Don't bring the con crud home, though, okay?
I won't.
Yeah, thank you.
And last but not least, next week on the show, it's that slow period. There's like no new movies coming out right at the end of summer. It always happens. So I think what we're going to do right now is maybe do hidden gems that we've missed or movies that we missed since we're at that kind of period and pick out a couple of documentaries and maybe a drama that we haven't seen that we recommend people check out.
You know what we should do, which I think we're always remiss on? Let's look at let's challenge ourselves, right? Let's do a foreign film.
I'm with you.
Okay.
I like it.
All right. Let's do it. A foreign film next week, you guys.
And a documentary maybe.
Okay. Wow.
Sound good?
This is very refined.
I like
I'll
it.
bring some wine. Some cheese.
All right. That is everything. Phil, you can jump back in that fish tank.
You bet. Thank you.
All right, let's end this one with some fun trivia. As I mentioned, we're playing Adam Sandler movie trivia, and I know Matt knows Adam Sandler pretty well, so I made these a little bit harder. I'm calling it difficult Adam Sandler movie trivia.
Okay, thank you for changing the word.
Okay.
Yeah.
3 correct. We didn't stump them. If not, you are stumped. Here we go. Question 1. Are you ready?
Yeah, I am.
Adam Sandler has made 3 movies with Jennifer Aniston. Name them all.
Okay. Wow. We just saw it. They're husband and wife.
Wow. Brilliant.
And they're detectives. Mm-hmm. And there's 2 of them. There's 2 movies in this series.
Mm-hmm. Was there a murder in the movie?
Murder Mystery 1 and Murder Mystery 2.
That's 2 of them. There's one more.
There is one more. Oh, dude, I'm not going to get it. Like something about the FBI or something?
0 for 1 for Matt K. We're looking for Just Go With It.
Just go with it. All 3 of those are decent.
For Adam Sandler.
For Adam Sandler,
Right.
yeah.
Question 2. Adam Sandler has starred with Drew Barrymore 3 times. Wow. Name all 3.
Okay. The Wedding Singer.
Correct.
50 First Dates.
Correct. And I knew this was going to be the tough one. We reviewed it on the show.
They came back and they didn't still have the spark. This is the tough one.
What was that 3rd Adam Sandler Drew Barrymore movie?
I don't know. I don't know.
Matt. Letting the Jawheads down. We were looking for Blended.
I don't think I saw it. Now that you mention it, I don't
We
think...
reviewed it here on the
We
show.
did?
Yeah. It was not good. That was back in like 2014.
Yeah, okay.
So,
Oh, yeah, now I remember talking about it. But, dude, I don't even recall the movie.
Yeah, they go on vacation somewhere, or it takes place in like a tropical area. It's a garbage one. All right, Matt is 0 for 2. He needs the next 3 correct. In 2002, Sandler made an animated movie about Hanukkah. Name it.
8 Crazy Nights.
You are on the board, my friend.
That should have been number 1.
All right, hey, you're on the board. Just be happy you're on the board. Stop
right.
complaining about the order. Question 4. 1996, Bulletproof was the movie. It was a buddy cop movie starring Adam Sandler and who?
Adam Sandler made a buddy cop movie in 1996?
Yep.
Bulletproof. Martin Lawrence.
Oh. We're looking for Damon Wayans. Damon Wayans.
Oh, Martin Lawrence did it with Will Smith. It was the other Bullet. What do they call
Bad
it?
Boys.
Bad Boys. Okay.
Shame. Matt is stumped this week. Last question. Who played Sandler's wife in the 2006 film Click?
That's a good movie.
It is?
Christopher. I mean, yeah, it's kind of interesting.
Who played his wife in Click?
Christopher Walken plays the guy at Bed Bath & Beyond who gives him the magic remote control.
My hint for you this is I would say she's out of his league.
Dude, I would say most girls are out of it.
I mean, when you're wearing a bathrobe to the movies,
Yeah,
like Sandler
cargo
does.
shorts and...
There's even a joke in the beginning of that movie. They're like, that's what you're going to wear?
Yeah.
That's Sandler.
Margot Robbie.
Oh. We're looking for Kate Beckinsale.
Okay, yeah.
Right?
obviously,
Kate Beckinsale, out of Adam Sandler's league, right? They're not on the same plateau.
I mean, dude's rich.
Good stuff. Matt, unfortunately, you blew it this week.
This was
blew it!
Oh,
Yeah.
Jesus.
I'm sorry.
This was very hard. It was hard Adam Sandler trivia.
It was. Come back strong next week.
I will.
You know what? We do have to get a review out next week. Jennifer Reeder, our friend, has
yeah.
a new movie out, Perpetrator. It's going to hit Shudder, and I think we got a link for it. I was just thinking about
Did we
that
get
as we're
it?
doing trivia.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
I know I got it.
Okay,
and
good.
You got to check your email.
Okay.
I'm sure you got it.
I do check it.
So we'll talk about that next week. And brings us to the end of the Jaw this week, Matt.
This was fun, Ryan.
This was fun.
Good
Good
one.
to be back in the studio.
It is. It's kind of refreshing, honestly.
Yes. First and foremost, we got to thank Phil, editor, producer, and correcting us in the fish tank. Phil, thank you.
Oh, you guys know I would not be anywhere else. I agree, it's refreshing. There's no Beatles fans marching through our recording this week, which makes me happy. And Jawheads, we love you guys too. You know, where would any of us three be without you guys?
Those Beatles fans. That was interesting.
That was wild.
Yeah, thanks, Jawheads. Hey, join us on Patreon. That's a really fun, easy way to support the show. In fact, we're about to record a bonus episode for you. So by the time you hear this, chances are good it'll be up. And even if it's not, there's a ton of back stuff, old classic reviews. Go to patreon.com/Cinemajaw. There's also a link on our website. And any level you support us on opens the archive of our bonus content, Ryan.
Do it, Jawheads.
Yeah,
The
just
other
come
way
in
to-
for a buck.
Other way to support us is leaving us a review, even a star rating wherever you're listening to this podcast. Until next week, I'm Ryan, the movie guy.
I'm Matt Kay, and keep on jawing about the movies.